Um, Good morning, everyone. Appreciate everyone coming out on this beautiful day in D.C. and a historic day. You guys are going to have to bear with me for a while because it's taken over 20 plus years to get to where we are today. And I'm sure folks like Alex Padra will tell you it's taken over 30 years. So, vision and passion for one's dream and goals at times are truly unexplainable. I'm sure if everyone has seen the Genius trilogy, which is a docuseries on an emerging superstar artist, where a filmmaker dropped everything he had to follow someone that he did not know for 20 years. How crazy is that? He just saw something in someone and decided to just follow him for 20 years because he saw his vision. Today, as I stand in front of you on the last day of Black History Month, another historical day for my company, Dante's Partners, I would like to acknowledge individuals who exhibit similar, unique traits. And as it turns out, all of them are women. I'm not trying to get any more points. I'm just stating the facts. You know, women do run the world. So what a way to enter Women's History Month, to enter the month. I've said this before and I'm saying it again. And as a father of girls, women truly do run the world. First off, the first individual we have is Catherine Buell, who is overseeing Amazon's $2 billion fund to aid $2 billion. Catherine. So anyone's looking for money, that's Catherine over there. And this fund was created to preserve affordable housing. What is it like to have a vision for creating an almost utopia society where everyone, no matter your income, no matter your skin color, your religion, your sexual orientation, you get to live affordably? And Parcel 42 is the seed and epitome of what that vision is. It took me a while to actually understand that Amazon said yes because I was still in the fight. I could not stop how to be a stalker. She said, Bua, it's good. I was like, really? But the deal is a good deal. It's on a unique corner. She's like, Bua, you're good. I was like, wait, really? She saw the vision, and the folks at Amazon saw that vision. And that was the kickstart to everything happening. So again, please join me in giving Amazon a round of applause for being where we are today. For those of you who may not know, I've been personally involved with this site since 2007. That's how old my daughter is. Like I said before, you're going to hear from others who have been involved in this site for way longer. But since my presence in DC, this parcel has gone through 3 mayors. And it took a mayor with vision and tenacity to see that the community got exactly what it is that they wanted: luxury affordable housing on this site. I'm not saying anything about the other mayors before her, but the facts speak for themselves. Mayor Bowser made it happen. She got it done. Her and our all-star team of John Falchicchio, who I'm sure he's tired of hearing from me. Sarosh, who I'm sure does not want to ever hear from me. Esther and Stacy, who hung in there to make this project work. She put a team together that believed in the vision of trying to create affordable housing. I believe it's 36,000 units by 2025, and she has been steadfast in making that happen. And also a big shout out to Scotty and Max for inviting my company to help in seeing that vision through. So ladies and gentlemen, Mayor Bowser for seeing the vision through. Round of applause. All right. So lastly, let's talk about me and my vision. Just kidding. So real quickly, I want to get back to where I started, which was the Kanye West trilogy. There was a scene where his mother was spitting his bars. Do you know what it means to have a mother to spit bars? She was his #1 fan. She believed in him. That level of vision, that level of belief is the same level of belief that my mom had in me when we first of all came to America over 20 years ago. She and my dad sacrificed everything to see to it that that vision came to reality. And lately, she and I have been spending a lot of time in New York where all we've been doing is just reminiscing and being like, wow, like, can you believe how far we've come? Just the other day, she and I were talking about this. I'm just glad that her vision has come to some level of realization. She was my #1 fan. So thank God for all the mothers out here who every day, day in, day out, do everything they can to see to it that their kids realize their dreams and their passion and their vision. Please join me in thanking my mother who's here with me today. She's right there. So like I said, women do run the world. This site has been a long journey of nothing but labor and love for the last 15 to 20 years. It's a very critical moment for all stakeholders, for all partners. And I'd like to take this moment to not only thank those who have played a huge role in bringing this vision to fruition, but also believing in one's vision and one's belief. Thank you to everyone who has played a major role in making this project happen. And obviously, thank you to my wife and my kids who are enduring my vision. Thank you, Uyi Osai. And my in-laws who are also here with me today as well. Thank you. And speaking of vision, nobody knows no more than vision about this site than Mr. Padro, who I have worked with over the course of the last 15 years in helping to create, 3 or 4 other projects in this very same vicinity. Shaw knows best. And ladies and gentlemen, Shaw's own, Alex Padro.
Thank you, Bua. Good morning, everyone. There are people in this neighborhood that would say that Parcel 42 was never going to happen. They said that about the O Street Market. They said that about the Howard Theater. They've said that about a lot of things, but you know what? With time, we've been able to make all these things happen. John Lennon and Paul McCartney probably didn't have Parcel 42 in mind when they wrote The Long and Winding Road, but we have had a long and winding road to get to where we are today. If we go back to the beginning of that road, back to April 4th of 1968, if you had come here the day before, you might have come here to either look at buying a new luxury import car at Manhattan Auto, or perhaps to get your car serviced. But on April the 4th, following the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Manhattan Auto and much of this neighborhood and many other neighborhoods across the district found themselves up in flames. And does anybody here remember Manhattan Auto? Do we have some folks? I see a couple of hands up, longtime neighborhood residents that remember, when this was Manhattan Auto. So if you had been here that night, you would have seen Jaguars and other Mercedes and other cars in flames in the windows of Manhattan Auto. In the years that followed, the Redevelopment Land Agency for the District of Columbia designated this as Parcel 42. They've given numerical designations to much of the land that was available for redevelopment in the 1970s. And up the street at 7th and S was Parcel 33. And during the urban renewal era, the city built the Shaw Health Clinic on this site. So it became a location for healing. When I first became an ANC commissioner in January of 2001, one of my first meetings that I attended was a meeting of the new board of the National Capital Revitalization Corporation, NCRC. Anybody remember NCRC? I see a few hands. NCRC was a successor organization to the Redevelopment Land Agency. And the reason that I went to that meeting was to say, when are you doing something about Parcel 42? And Lloyd Smith, who was the chair of the board, then said, we're going to get to it. And we can't get to it immediately. It's not the highest priority, but we're going to get to it. We've got a bigger project up the block from you, and that was Parcel 33. Which, when Radio and TV One was looking for a new headquarters location to consolidate their operations, they were looking at Parcel 33. In the process of developing the plans for Parcel 33, it was decided that there would be a residential component in addition to the office space for the broadcast firm, and that it would be condominium development. And many of the community felt that that wasn't a great fit, that there was a need for additional affordable housing to be able to meet some of the challenges that we had even back then. So a deal was struck. Parcel 33 would be a condominium development in addition to the office space for Radio and TV One. And Parcel 42 would be the all affordable, all rental offset for that project. Well, a little something called, the world financial crisis came up shortly after that, and the condominiums at Parcel 33, now known as Progression Place, ended up being apartments, and we went through the first of 3 disposition processes for Parcel 42. And unfortunately, the first developer that was chosen wasn't able to move forward with the project. So we went through, that was back in the Fenty administration. So we went on to the Gray administration, and there was another attempted disposition. And unfortunately, that one didn't end up moving forward either. So it came to the Bowser administration to finally put out the disposition for Parcel 42 that actually stuck and has gotten us to where we are today. Along the way, we saw a vision to use this site as an anchor location for the annual Art All Night Festival that I was proud to be able to co-found back in 2011. And thanks to the Deputy Mayor's Office and that team and the mayors in between, we've been able to consistently have 10 Art All Night festivals here. And I know that many of you have enjoyed the free art and entertainment that we've been able to offer here. And I'm glad to be able to say that even though Parcel 42's redevelopment is going to displace Art All Night from this site, this morning, Deputy Mayor Falchicchio has found us a new location. The Deputy Mayor has offered to close our street between 7th and 9th Streets, and also to allow us to use the Banneker Field at Banneker High School as locations for the Art All Night beginning this September. So thank you to the Deputy Mayor for making sure that the Art All Night tradition is able to continue in Shaw. But the reality is that even though we had the third disposition, it still wasn't soup yet. This is a challenging project. And, you know, with a lot of demands on the part of the community, the affordability being a significant one. And, you know, these kinds of projects don't pencil out easily. So it took, you know, the commitment of Dante's partners, led by Bua Benite, working tirelessly with the Deputy Mayor's office, with Sarosh and John and their teams, to be able to come up with the plan that actually could be built. It's one thing to have a vision. We've had visions for 20 years. We've gone through a generation waiting for a vision to happen. It's thanks to this particular, you know, team of committed individuals with the mayor's leadership that we've been able to actually get to the day when we get to the end of the road, the long and winding road that has led us to finally breaking ground on Parcel 42. So it took 6 ANC commissioners over 21 years. It took 3 ward council members. It took 4 mayors. But I'm glad to be able to have the honor to introduce the mayor that actually made Parcel 42 a reality, Mayor Muriel Bowser, the 28th mayor of the District of Columbia.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you, Alex. Let's give Commissioner Alex Padro a big round of applause. And you can see from Alex's remarks his love of Shaw and commitment to Shaw and his persistence in making sure that every mayor, every official has been focused on how we get this project done. I had the occasion, Alex, and you'll appreciate this. I was in Riggs Park the other day, where a piece of development that we started working on in my first year as an ANC in 2004. And the whole vision and transformation of Riggs Park is coming into fruition 18 years into it. So piece by piece, plan by plan, small area plan, project, community meeting, the community's vision is coming into fruition. We'd like to think that this project was perfect for a concept that I brought to government called our RFP. And what our RFP said is that we're going to ask the community first, what do you want? How do you want to make it happen? And when we did that, we had all of the yeses, all of the no's, and everything in between. And that's what we went out to the public to solicit. And that's how we attracted great teams to do this work. So I want to give a big shout out to the Dem-Petters. Where are the Dem-Petters? Give them a big round of applause. Deputy Mayor Falchicchio, Sarosh Podwala, the entire team who really focused on making sure that our RFP project worked. I want to thank our development team. You heard from Bua Benite, and I don't know that I got to meet your mom, but I want to give a big shout out to your entire family because this is a project. And Bua exemplifies our commitment in Washington, D.C. to invest in our own companies, to invest in D.C. residents, to highlight black developers in our city and make sure everybody knows they do great projects. And there shouldn't be any difference in how the city works with our development team. So let's give a big shout out to Bua, the entire development team that's involved here at Parcel 42. And finally, I just want to highlight something that Alex mentioned. how we want to make sure that people of all incomes across the spectrum can live in Shaw. You went back a long ways to talk about a very different Shaw, a Shaw of the 1960s that burned, and how over the course of time we have made critical investments in making this a community that everybody can call home. That Legacy Washington, I'm Legacy Washington, can recognize, that New Washington can appreciate, and where everybody in between is proud of their city. You've also heard from Alex, and you're going to hear from my team, how hard affordable housing projects are. But this is why it's so important. As much as we've been able to do in our city, there's still an anxiety in Washington, a big one. And that big anxiety is that I love what's happening, but will I be able to afford to live here? Or more than that, will my little one be able to afford to live here? So everything that we do, when I talk about $100 million every year or $1 billion in affordable housing over the course of 7 years, it's about real people addressing their real concern that Washington is for them. So I know you will be with me on parcel 42, correct? But you also need to be with me when I go to the council member with a big number. It's going to be a big one. Last year it was $400 million. I don't know what it can be. Miranda, chill out. This year. But it's going to be a big one, because that's what it's going to take just to keep up with doing transformative projects like this one. So I want to thank the Shaw community. Commissioner, you will accept my appreciation for every resident of Shaw for sticking with us, believing in us, and knowing that we will deliver a fantastic project here at Shaw. So finally, I just want to, come here, sweetheart. This is my daughter, Muriel Bowser, and she wants to live in Washington, D.C. Thank you, everybody.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I am Brooke Pinto. I have the privilege and honor of serving as the Ward 2 council member. And as a testament to how long this project has been in the works, 20 years ago, this area was part of Ward 2. It then became part of Ward 6, and just last month, it became part of Ward 2 again, and we finally reunified Shaw back into Ward 2 where it belongs. And so I'm so excited to welcome this project to our ward. Thank you so much, Bua, for your investment and commitment to our community. Thank you, Catherine, to really answering the call. And we hope that this first project for you now leads to many, many more. We're now extremely reliant on you. And thank you, Mr. Padro, for all of your efforts. I also want to thank our Commissioner, Alex Lopez, who represents this area, who actually just yesterday took me on a great walk around Shaw and pointed out a lot of areas that are in need of improvement and really exciting projects that are in the pipeline. And thank you so much, Mayor Bowser and Deputy Mayor Falchicchio. You know, I speak to people all over the city all the time who have new ideas for projects, whether it be housing or retail or sports or entertainment or hotels. And one of the first things they always say to me is, well, we know we have to include affordable housing because that is really important to Mayor Bowser. And priorities and values are extremely important, not just because of the projects that you've already completed, but because that permeates throughout our culture through new projects and new ideas. And people have gotten that message over the course of the last few years. So thank you. And I really just wanted to say welcome to the community. When we talk about affordable housing, and Mayor Bowser mentioned the needs of families fearful that they're not going to be able to afford to live in the city, this is the type of resource density that we mean. When we're across the street from a library, when we're across the street from the metro, when we have great grocery stores and retails in Shaw and fantastic amenities here. So we welcome you to the neighborhood. We're excited to continue to bring more affordable housing to Ward 2. And thanks so much for being here with us today. With that, I have the privilege of introducing the man behind much of this, our Deputy Mayor, John Falchicchio.
Well, thank you, Councilmember, and thank you, everyone, for joining us. Good morning. And first and foremost, I'm here to say a few thank yous. So first, obviously, thank you to the community for sticking with us. We know this has gone through a number of iterations, as all the speakers have discussed. But this one was important because it is our first Our RFP. So Sarosh and the team know that it took engagement up front with the community to talk to you about what you wanted to see and make sure that we hold the team who will develop this project up to those high expectations. So what will be here? It is going to be 110 units, with 108 of them being affordable, a mix of all income bands up to 80%, with about half of them being at 50% or below of AMI, which was really important. When I walked up today and I saw the tent on the site, I actually kind of froze for a moment because when I worked for a former mayor, there were tents on this site as well. But it was the community advocating for more affordable housing at the site. But what Mayor Bowser did was made sure that the community was on the front end of the development process in this third solicitation. That's what our RFP is all about. So I want to thank a few folks who helped us get to where we are today. And then I just want to tell you a little bit about how this project also fits into that broader goal that the mayor talked about. So from the DemPed team, Sarosh Padwala is up front here. He leads a team of real estate professionals that includes Esther Ezra and Stacy Meyer, who helped with all of the planning for this and stayed on the phone with BUA day and night and day in order to get to where we are today. They were also assisted by our legal team, Susan Longstreet and Aisha Abbasi. And they also stayed on the phone with BUA day and night. His mom is here. If you didn't get a lot of calls recently, it was because he was on the phone with DemPed. And also want to thank, we meet with our housing agency partners the first Friday of every month, all the agencies in the district that really focus in on housing and try to help the mayor reach that goal of 36,000 by 2025. Chris Donald is here. Chris is there in the bow tie. He is the head of the DC Housing Finance Agency, which lent some important financing to this project to get us to where we are today. Chris Donald also has a headquarters at 9th and U Street. And we know soon that we'll start a project there to deliver even more affordable housing. So, Chris, we look forward to that. And then there's also countless people in D.C. government who helped us along the way. We don't always give them a shout out, but I saw DCRA has a representative here today, Greta Rivero. BUA is clapping because she runs our expedited permitting process. The mayor affectionately calls it Velocity, which helps us make sure that projects stay on track. So we're here today because of the work of DCRA. So just briefly, how this project fits into that goal, that citywide goal of 36,000 by 2025. Just to tell you where we are, it was something that the mayor launched in 2019, just a few years ago, and we're almost about halfway through that time period, through 2025. And since 2019, we've produced 20,699 units of housing. That means that we're about 58% of the way to that 36,000 by 2025 goal. Everybody should applaud that. And then also, we also have a sub-goal, right? So 12,000 units of affordable housing by 2025. And as of this month, we have produced 4,003 affordable units, which means that we're 1/3 of the way to that 12,000 by 2025 goal. Give yourselves a round of applause for that one as well. And know that the 108 affordable units at this site will help us get to 2025. So I want to, again, thank everybody who helped us get this far, let you know that this project helps us with what the mayor laid out, which is not just building affordable housing, but creating housing affordability. And Mayor, one more commitment from DemPed. Sarosh said that if in 24 months, BUA keeps this project on track, you'll be back to cut the ribbon on this project. And he promised to build an even taller podium so that Miranda has her spot at the ribbon cutting as well. So with that, I want to make sure that we recognize Amazon for their commitment to this project. This is the first, but definitely not the last, one they did in D.C. Back in 2007, when this project was originally awarded, Bua was actually in DemPed. He was the new Communities Initiative Director. There was also a young, bright lawyer at Patton Boggs, and that was Catherine Buell. Today, they're making this project happen. We want to thank Amazon for their commitment. And Catherine, tell us a little bit more about all the projects that Amazon's going to invest in right here in D.C.
Well, good afternoon. I will be brief, but I have to acknowledge that this is a full circle moment for me. I am a proud district resident. I had the pleasure of working with Alex Pedro when I chaired the district's Historic Preservation Review Board, and he was a longtime community advocate for this community. I've had the pleasure of working with the Deputy Mayor's office and love my DemPedders. And I've also had the pleasure of working with Mayor Bowser. And it is our honor to be here to commit to affordable housing in the District of Columbia. This is our first project. I've been an admirer of Bua and all of his leadership and all of his work for so long. So it is not lost on us that Parcel 42 is our first project. I want to tell you a little bit about the Housing Equity Fund because we launched the Amazon Housing Equity Fund in January of last year with a more than $2 billion commitment to creating or preserving 20,000 affordable housing units in our hometown communities. We're working here in HQ2 in DC and Arlington, Virginia in the region. We're working in Nashville, Tennessee, and also in Puget Sound, which includes Seattle, Washington, and Bellevue, Washington. This is our first project here in the District of Columbia, and I promise you it is not the last. We will commit a portion of that 36,000 affordable housing units that the district is working to achieve. But not only that, to date, we have invested over $575 million through African American-led organizations. These numbers are real. They are large. We are here to go shoulder to shoulder with affordable housing developers who are committing to building affordable housing over the long term. I am so proud to be here. I want to acknowledge my team because I don't do this work alone. I want to acknowledge the director for Amazon in the community, Alice Shobe, Brian Kenner, who is our U.S. Director for Public Policy, who so many know, and also my colleagues who have joined me today, Patrick Philippi and TJ Malone, who are in the back. And then just want to give a shout out to my brother and baby James, who also joined us today. So thank you so much for having us. Amazon is really proud to be a partner on this project. And with that being said, I will invite Mayor Bowser back up to answer any questions. So thank you.
Let me have Sarosh, Dante's partners, John, come up. Commissioner Padro. All right, are there any questions? Questions? All right, let's break some ground. Thank you, everybody.
If I sit, am I in your way? I'm good? Okay.
Scotty, there's some over here. Sure. Hey, Scotty. Yeah. There's some over here.
Okay, on the count of three, Shaw. Shaw on three. 1, 2, 3.